Okay. Um, when we honor our dead, especially now in this day and age, we, regardless of the burial practices, differences of faith, differences between the celebrations of the same faith, we all have our loved ones that pass on. Usually it's family and friends, and in other cases it's people that we've admired from a distance and, showed us what was possible in our lives if. For me, it was Sammy Davis Jr., Gregory Hines, Michael Jackson. Okay, they just put on these shows, they performed, and they just looked happy as hell doing it. Those are the people I admired, and they're gone now. And that's like the extreme case, mourning the loss of a celebrity. But Michael Jackson brought it, everybody who mourns him, and they're mourning him still, they're mourning someone that they grew up with. The only other person that I can think of offhand that, celebrity that made people feel like that would be Elvis. Graceland. So, it's obvious with the people we love, but also with these people who represented so much and that we grew up with, and we heard their music, and we wanted to be them, we wanted to dance with them, we wanted to do all these things. They are representatives, I guess, of our better selves, and when that dies, a part of us dies. We want to give honor to those who've gone before us. We recognize, the tangible and intangible gifts that they've given to us. And as we've seen with this passing, the passing of family members and this global mourning, that, you don't have to know someone personally to feel this emotional pain, and it can be physical. We no longer have this guiding light, so to speak, to show us what is possible, to, when I was little, he was someone to look up to, he was someone to admire, he was someone that I wanted to work toward being like. I can't tell you how many times I've thought of being a backup dancer, and how I couldn't stand the girl in the How You Make Me Feel video, because I wanted to be her the whole time I was dancing. Even when I stopped dancing, it was like, I gotta get back into dance. I have to do this. This is what I'm called to do. My first love was dance. And the first performer that I really, first performer who did something, that I did something like, was Michael Jackson. He danced, I danced. He sang, I sang. There was no guesswork. So there's mourning that loss of a guiding light. In some instances, you feel like, regardless of, him not knowing you personally, you feel like you lost a friend. So much of his music touched on aspects of your life growing up. Some people literally grew up with the man. He's 50. So when he was 11, there were 11-year-olds looking at him like, hey, I can do that, and aspiring toward it. When I was 11, I did, but he was a grown man. Having a crush on Michael Jackson at 10, 11, 12. It was a dream. I wanted to be like him. I wanted to perform like him. I didn't care what he did. I didn't care. I mean, it was all good. It was all good. He was the performer extraordinaire. And, his sudden passing made me realize how, even though he hasn't done anything in years, how attached I am still to him and what he represents. So it made me think, what ties us so much to someone we don't know? I mean, I know about the ties when you have your family members, and the family is supposed to be who guides us and molds us and teaches us about the world, but there are these other people, and obviously, you honor your family, to let them go, but also to let yourself go so you can go on living your life. But then you have someone like this where no blood relation at all. Most of us don't even have the same last name as the man. But you still have to do something to recognize that this person is out of your life. And it goes to some of the things that have been going on here in Pittsburgh. I don't know if they've been going on in the rest of the country, but a funeral home opened its doors to have a memorial service celebrating his life and mourning his passing. There were people doing performances. There were people singing. The minister, conducted a eulogy about, his, talked about his life, and, it made perfect sense. This man encompassed so much of so many people's lives. His energy reached out and touched all of us. Whether you liked him, whether you didn't like him, he was there. You didn't. There's no one saying, "Who's this Michael Jackson? I don't know who that is." Everybody knew who he was. And I believe he really was the type of person who tried to do the best for everyone and was severely mistaken, misunderstood. So, how do we honor our dead and protect our hearts? I think it's pretty simple. You acknowledge the passing. You cry. You talk to them. I've talked to them. Oh, yes, I have. I've gone on, can't count how many times I've gotten weepy, but I've had 4 good sobs. I'll miss the presence. That energy is dispersed from that individual, and it will not be expressed like that again. He was unique and completely different from everyone else. I mean, he had a bunch of brothers and sisters. There is no one else like him.